What are some common things parents do, say that is actually hurts their child but they think is innocent? When you open up to your mom on some private issue and she says, it's only between us, but then she starts snitching to other people. Yep, my mom has done this to me multiple times and that's pretty much why I tell her nothing. If I tell my mom anything it spreads to everyone in the family in about 2 days and then they make fun of me. The silent treatment, it made my brother and me feel terrible when mom wouldn't talk to us or explain what was wrong when we asked. The silent treatment is demeaning, especially when you don't honestly know why you're being punished. My mom does this too, but my brother wouldn't give into her petty ass attitude and would just ignore her. I too began to do that. She wanted everyone to be mad if she was mad and needed to be catered to. That if she wasn't going to behave like an adult, then that's on her. When they start comparing you with the other kids. We're only 2 in the family and my bro has always been our mom's favorite. She would always say how he was smarter, more talented, the better kid and made better decisions when we got older. Sucks real bad. When you finally get your parents' approval, you won't need it anymore. Quote. Wow, you got 90% on this test? Where's the other 10%? Same. When I am so happy that I got a 4 on a test and I'm so excited to tell them and they're like, well, could have been better. Quote. Or when you hand them a report card of all A's except 1 B and their only reaction is, I guess that's okay as long as that B comes up. Constant one-upping. My siblings and I are all older, 17 to 21, and we can't say a word about having a long day or being in pain or anything because my mom will come out of the woodworks explaining how her day was much longer and harder and she's in more pain, etc. Just because you may have it worse doesn't mean someone else's struggle isn't real to them. You went to Tenerife? I've been to El Tenerife. Pointing out their flaws, in a mean and condescending way. I pointed this out to my parents numerous times and they told me, you always take everything so seriously. We're just trying to help you. Tell me about it. Something my mom likes to say a lot is, well, it's so easy. Even you could do it. Well, thanks mom. That's a way of calling me stupid. Or even worse, your little sister could do it as well. So much this, especially if it's about something stupid, like being able to handle spicy food or not. Commenting on their appearance constantly, in either a positive or negative way. If all the compliments you give your child, or let other people give your child, are about their appearance, they will begin to equate the way they look with their value as a person. On the other hand, if you constantly nag at them about their appearance or their weight or the way they dress, they'll develop lifelong insecurities about and related to their appearance. Invalidating your child's feelings, usually by saying something along the lines of, it wasn't that bad. Or, when I was your age. ... So you have it easy. Etc. ... Well, somebody's grumpy always infuriated me. My mom and dad always throw around, you're in a mood. I would be perfectly fine, but them saying that pissed me off to no end. I've started throwing it back at them and they immediately say, no I'm not. It is absolutely one of the most frustrating things. My mother used to say, you shouldn't be too picky. It's not like you're that pretty, when I was young. Till this very day I could still remember the place where she said it and the weather of that day. Never felt beautiful growing up no matter how much compliments I get. I got confused when great people showed interest in me and always feels like they're out of my league and it can't be real. Tell your daughters they're beautiful. You don't know how much that means to them. But don't do it too much. You don't want your children to equate beauty with worth. To be fair, that line should be a mile wide. It should be easy to let your daughters know they're beautiful whilst not focusing on beautify as if it's the only thing that matters. Invalidating the child's hardships just because the parents had it harder when they were at that age. Edit, I don't understand how you keep complaining about how hard school is. Back in our day, We don't even have Google. Edit again. If I posted something like this on FB or Twitter, the adults and elders would probably be attacking me on the comment section on how I managed to have time to complain on social media but have no time to study LMAO. You went internet on it. My dad used to talk about how some kid hit him with a 2x4 for using the vacuum too much in shop class, and that the kid hitting me on the bus was no big deal. I ended up smashing that kid and getting suspended for a week and kicked off the bus for a week. My dad grounded me for a month long. Dismissing any complaints, concerns we have. If I try to tell my mom that something she said did hurt me, all I get is, "I've had a really long day. I just need you to shut up for a bit. You never appreciate what I try to do for you." Doesn't really demonstrate the best method of responding to criticism. Kinda relatable. This kind of reaction stops me from talking with them. Now they don't stop pestering about, "Why don't you talk to me?" Just reply, "'Cause you're a kumquat." I'll give you something to cry about. Everyone feels like that. My mom did this so much to me as a kid. I can actually hear her voice saying it and feel her hand clutching my arm anytime I cry now as an adult. Educator here. When kids succeed or do well, many parents compliment them by calling them smart. As it turns out, studies have shown that calling kids smart motivates them to attempt easy tasks and avoid hard ones. The child is trying to fish for that compliment and wants to appear smart, thus only attempts things it knows it will succeed at. It's much better to compliment a child on working hard, whether he succeeds or fails, rather than tell him he's smart when he succeeds. Don't worry. I suffered from a bad case of this when I was younger. Once I learned about fixed versus growth mindsets, I gained the self-awareness I needed to change for the better. Fuck the past. Be your own parent. Having jokes at their expense, for example. Making them look stupid about something they are too young to understand. Making fun of them for liking someone, having a crush, having a girlfriend or boyfriend. My mother and brother made fun of me because I didn't know simple facts about WW2 when we were playing trivia. I was 8. When I was 8, my dad went on a tirade about how he couldn't have an intellectual conversation with me. Sorry bud, it's 2009 and this cool thing called Minecraft just came out. I don't care about immigrants right now. Saying that they can't be stressed, depressed, upset because they're just a kid, i.e. how can you be stressed? I spend all day on my feet and cook. That's stressed. It's not a competition? I always hated this as a kid. I was depressed and trapped. I literally had no choice but to go to school where I was harassed and humiliated by both peers and authority figures, but there was nothing I could do about. I had no choice but to go. As an adult, at least I can quit a job if people give me shit. Even if it means no income. But sometimes it's worth it to just feel like a damn human being. You want to be a blank when you grow up. There isn't any money in that. You can't make a living doing that. Be a doctor, engineer. Then you can afford to do that as a hobby. I've been obsessed with collecting insects since I was 4 and I learned what an entomologist was when I was 5. Years of hearing that my passion would lead nowhere caused me to enter the wrong university, but meet some amazing lifelong friends, with the wrong major only to transfer out and eventually get a bachelor's in entomology after 7 years. I'm 30 now and I have an amazing job at my local government dealing with animal, insect disease vectors, and we have an insectary where I am allowed to keep a bunch of my fun insect cultures. Those times were rocky and I know that I could never do the same for my future children. My parents were entomologists and both ultimately left the field. I grew up being told, do something useful. Like genetics. Jokes on them. I studied genetics to do invertebrate work. Why can't you be more like generic name? I have been generic name in this comparison. And let me tell you, it's shitty from this side. 2. Not nearly as shitty as your parents, implying you're not as good as someone else's kid. that suddenly your best friend hates you for no apparent reason and thinks you're somehow trying to be Little Miss Perfect, even though she knows precisely all of the shit you have got up to together. My best friend turned into my first bully because her mom kept asking, "Why can't you be quiet, polite, etc. like her?" I was quiet, polite, etc. because I was at someone else's house. Because that's what you do. The rest of the time, I was probably an unholy terror to my own mother. Don't cry. Don't be sad. Oh, just enjoy it. All feelings are valid. Mom, I'm sad. Don't be, my goodness. What an idea. Why didn't I think of that? When they see their son talking to a girl and immediately say, "Ah, you got a girlfriend," it fucks up their perception of females. It makes them feel extremely awkward around girls and unable to talk to them properly. It makes them consciously think about how they can draw the line between friends and romantic partners. Since it's a concept they have zero experience in, the awkwardness and cringe just bubble to the surface. They aren't allowed to organically identify where the line is drawn. You are thirsty, you are hungry, you need to pee. To a child who had been toilet trained years ago. Don't touch, you will break something. About doing a chore activity the child actually is mature enough to do. Or at least my parents and grandparents said such things. And it made me lag behind in most life skills. And feel incompetent and insecure well into adulthood. Until I have spent a few years living on another continent from them. Maybe it's still sometimes this. Disinterest in child's hobbies. Telling their child, "Watch out. They'll take you away" every time they see a police officer.